Sadguru Nath Maharaj ki Jai.
Kakaji, what is Guru? What does he mean to us? And what is the difference between a common man and a Guru?
Guru Tattva is an entity which is omnipresent beyond the world and transcendental. When this Tattva gets incarnated somewhere, then he is known as Sadguru. And when his expansion occurs in different fragments, he is called Guru. In the traditions, Guru, Sadguru and Param Guru, this is the lineage that is followed. So when the scriptures are studied and the scholars debate among themselves, all the scriptures, the attained souls, whenever they talk about the Guru or the Sadguru, their first aim is Guru Tattva, which is omnipresent beyond the world and transcendental. With the incarnation of this element, the Gurus and the Sadgurus come into form. They are superior souls compared to the common man, because the common man is acquainted only with ignorance and looks at the world through the eyes of ignorance only. When he becomes awake, his conscience and his knowledge arise, and he is blessed by the Guru, then he becomes aware about the sadhana and makes an effort to be on the path of the sadhana and becomes sadhak. A common man lives through the medium of consciousness, but he is not at all aware about this consciousness. On the contrary, Guru or Sadguru, whatever name you may give this entity, he is absolutely aware about his deepest core. He is self-enlightened, personification of knowledge, and because of being an ocean of knowledge, his knowledge becomes a medium of his everyday activities, and he constantly endeavors for the well-being of humanity and the spiritual progress of every soul in the world.
Kakaji, please enlighten us. On the level of self-realization, what is the difference between a Sadguru and a common sadhak?
Well, you see, a Sadguru is deeply centered in the core of knowledge, and by this virtue, whatever he does in the world around, it gets manifest through that supreme knowledge. A Sadguru experiences his omnipresence, experiences his real form, whereas a common man is only aware of his physical body. He is associated with the physical body. Beyond this, he knows nothing.
Kakaji, one seeker wants to know who is a Guru and who is a Sadguru.
Sadguru is an ocean of knowledge, is an attained soul. Guru Tattva has incarnated inside him in totality, and he is very much aware about it. And the other souls who are still on the path towards their destination, those seekers or sadhaks, when they come in contact with the seekers who have attained a little more than them, so till the time one finds a Sadguru, many helping Gurus are present all around to help a seeker move towards that destination slowly. Bhagwan Dattatreya has described 24 Gurus. So it may well be understood that all these helping Gurus are very instrumental in making you reach to that Sadguru.
So it means helping Guru and helping Sadguru are there to help us on different levels?
Sahayak Gurus or helping Gurus are made available to a seeker through the supreme power for the purpose of your ultimate enlightenment, because even they have this purpose and this awareness for the spiritual upliftment of humanity.
So, is it related to Guru Parampara? And Kakaji, what is Guru Parampara?
Guru Parampara is a tradition of the Sadgurus. Right, Guru Parampara is a tradition of the Sadgurus. It begins with Adi Shiv and has come a long way from there. And the present Sadgurus are deeply in connection with this tradition. From Adi Shiv to their Param Guru or their Sadguru, they are connected, even when they have attained enlightenment themselves. So this is the way the Guru Parampara goes on. And because of this deep connection of the Param Gurus or the Sadgurus, these different traditions are revealed, like Nath Parampara, Dat Parampara, Aghar Aghori Parampara, Kapalik, Shaiv, Shakt Parampara and Vaishno Parampara. The enlightened souls are connected with these traditions and their efforts are ongoing on their own particular levels. They constantly endeavor for the social well-being and man's spiritual progress.
Kakaji, does different paramparas come and meet at a common point?
While arriving at their destination, all the traditions merge at one point.
Kakaji, in spite of having different paramparas, are they related to virtues or values as well?
Absolutely. There are many traditions and they are connected with the values or the sanskars, and every seeker, as per his own values, becomes aware of and gets connected to those traditions. And through this he reaches the culmination of his sadhana and finally attains his destination.
Kakaji, a seeker has a query. What is Guru Mantra and how a sadhak can get it?
A Sadguru is blessed with and handed over a mantra from his own Sadguru, and he lives and celebrates and feels the awakened experience of that mantra and then finally hands it over to his own disciple, and this is called Guru Mantra. A mantra through the medium of which he can attain his own real self, become one-to-one with himself and become aware of his real form.
Kakaji, there are so many gurus. How can a sadhak identify a true guru for himself? Please enlighten on this.
A seeker filled with acute curiosity and acute detachment, he will either have a Sadguru destined for him, or else the Sadguru will find him, will reach him somehow, or otherwise by his blessings the seeker, the Shishya, will find the Sadguru.
So Kakaji, who is important in this? By the blessing of a Sadguru, one can find his Guru, or by his own efforts?
Both are important, although if the selfless efforts of the Shishya are not blessed by the Guru, then the seeker may lose his direction. So primarily, the blessings of the Guru are instrumental.
So Kakaji, does it mean that it's a continuous cycle of one's past life, that he will find his Sadguru at a given time at a given place?
Absolutely, this is the tradition and this is the destiny as well. As per the good deeds of your last life, your sadhana is decided, and for the continuation of that sadhana, as well as its culmination, you are connected with that tradition. So in a way, everything is predestined and your Sadguru takes you on from there to your destination.
So Kakaji, by the blessing of our Sadguru, if one is able to find his Sadguru, does that mean that we have reached the final goal of our sadhana?
The attainment of Sadguru is the culmination of one's sadhana, but without the surrender and letting go of one's ego, that is meaningless. So if your innermost core is not attuned to working towards your destination, then even the presence of a Sadguru is virtually meaningless, because you will not be able to take any advantage of it. The attainment of Sadguru happens by the blessings of the Sadguru, and by his blessings only the search continues finally towards its destination. But Without the Sadguru's blessings, you are left standing directionless. That is why, as much as the blessings of the Sadguru are important, equally important are the persistent efforts of the seeker, because only then will this convergence become fruitful.
To be blessed oneself itself requires the blessing of a Sadguru. Isn't it, Kakaji?
Absolutely, it is quintessential, because many times the presence of one's subtle ego overlooks those divine blessings, which voids even the presence of divine blessings.
What do you mean by subtle ego, Kakaji?
Subtle ego is felt by the mind, by the knowledge, by the conscience, and it is the biggest obstacle in the path of surrender or for the seeker.
Kakaji, a seeker wants to know that every guru says that his parampara is the right parampara. Then how can we figure out the right parampara?
Well, you see, a Sadguru who has attained enlightenment through his tradition, who is centered in his real self, has attained himself, he is speaking the truth only about his tradition because he has attained by walking down that path only. Now it's up to your own values or sanskar that you can be connected with him or not. And his Guru Tattva is not really dependent upon your approval of considering it right or not. Because the Guru Tattva is totally unbiased. It is virtueless, it is formless. And be clear that it is not seeking your approval at all.
Kakaji, how can one identify his own Sadguru?
If you are filled with acute love, acute curiosity, acute detachment, and if in his vicinity you feel an inner peace dawning inside you and an inner transformation has begun inside you, there is a curiosity inside you for the seeking, and if you feel eager for that search, which is nothing but the very goal of your life, where all your efforts cease and you feel the dawn of love and of bliss inside you, that is the place of your Guru, and he is your Guru. He will make you attain your real self.
A sadhak wants to know, as he is confused, he went to a couple of gurus. He wants to know, can we follow all of their paramparas and teachings together?
There can be many helping gurus, but there is only one Sadguru. After having been led to the Sadguru, the search for the Guru ends and the work of the helping gurus is also over. When a seeker is really ready, he gets connected to the Sadguru. And once this happens, then no other Guru is able to affect him. Neither does he need it at all. If even after being connected to the Sadguru, that search still continues, that means that the search hasn't yet been concluded.
It's unfinished.
It's unfinished, not done.
Kakaji, a seeker wants to know that between God, Guru and parents, out of all of them, whom should we worship the most for their blessings?
This comparison is just foolishness. There is no sense in the comparison. You must feel love, respect and reverence for your parents, because it is only through their blessings that you have been able to come to this world, and then you have been able to begin your seeking, your search, and ultimately you will find your Sadguru, who will then lead you to what you call God. And the biggest thing is that the Guru Tattva is present in all these entities. It is the highest, the purest, the most absolute entity. That same Guru Tattva is in your parents, the same is in your Sadguru, and the same one exists in the God. It is the supreme power. You must not enter this territory with a comparative vision. If comparison still exists, it means that you haven't yet reached the level that you are supposed to be at. This comparison, valuation is what keeps you tied to the world. If you need to transcend this world, you should rise above comparison, you should rise above valuation.
Is it related to detachment from senses, Kakaji?
Detachment from senses is sannyas, and while being detached from your senses, you can still be a part of this world. In fact, this is your very natural state.
Kakaji, another sadhak wants to know, what are the good qualities of a true seeker?
Ultimate curiosity is required to be a seeker. Ultimate detachment is needed. Ultimate feeling of surrenderance is needed. Ultimate submission is required. A person who has these qualities is eligible to be a true seeker. And the ultimate peak of being a true seeker is when one is able to attain his guru, his Sadguru. After coming face to face, the Sadguru and the seeker both become one. The goal of the guru is achieved just like the search of the seeker or the shishya ends there. Both of them lose their individualities and there is just a very pure and natural state of supreme power. Both of them melt into that power. Both of them become that power.
Kakaji, a sadhak has a query that the bonding of a guru and his shishya is formed in this life or it has been continuing from his past lives.
Guru Tattva is timeless and eternal. In the same way, Shishyatva is also timeless, but it has an end. Guru Tattva is timeless and eternal. Shishyatva is timeless with an end, meaning it is mortal. The ending of Shishyatva means the attainment of Gurutva and being centered on the level of Sadguru.
Just now you enlightened us that Guru and Shishya merges with oneself and goes into a state of duality. So,
the state of duality ends there. It's only non-duality.
Is that the state of Turiya, Kakaji?
Yes, it is the state of Turiya.
It means the state of Nirgun Nirakar?
Yes, it is the state of being unbiased, virtueless and formless.
So when that state progresses to the state of Unmani, does any change occurs in that state?
No, the internal progress of the states keeps on happening. Subtlety and grossness keeps on coming. But there is no medium to express or articulate this.
It's experiential?
It is pure experiential. It is to be lived.
The same sadhak put forward one more question, that the Sadguru from one's present life, will the same Sadguru be his Sadguru in the next life?
Except for form and physical appearance, the Guru Tattva remains same. It is timeless and eternal. So it is what it was in the previous life and will be so in the next life. There will be a difference in the physical form. This difference is because neither are you aware about your physical form in the previous life and nor will you be aware in the next life.
Kakaji, what is Guru Seva or Guru Service?
Well, Guru Seva is what can lead you to destroy your ego, and there is a rise of ultimate surrenderance, ultimate submission inside you, and it's a medium to attain your real self. So this is what all you get from Guru Seva. Guru Seva isn't about providing physical comforts to the Guru, like giving a foot massage. The meaning of Guru Seva is whatever are the teachings of the Guru, whatever are the instructions of the Guru for the Shishya, they should be followed to the very end, and in the process the Shishya should merge into the Guru. This is Guru Seva in the real sense. And in order to achieve this goal, one needs to follow the very wise words of the attained souls mentioned in our ancient scriptures.
Kakaji, as an option, can we believe that progressing towards surrenderance or complete surrenderance is actually Guru Seva?
Absolutely, you can assume this. The degree in which the surrenderance and the submission grows within the seeker, it is by the blessings of the Guru, and it is Guru Seva.
Kakaji, in the same context, a sadhak wants to know, Guru Seva can be performed while being with him or being far away from him.
Guru Tattva is omnipresent, transcendental and beyond the world. So if you have the good fortune of being in the vicinity of the Guru and to serve him, then you should be fully alert. You should be awake, and with all your conscience and intellect, whatever you can do to serve the Guru, with his willful happiness you must do. It's your duty. But the Shishya should not serve the Guru as per his own thinking. He should only serve the Guru as per the wish of the Guru. It should have conscience, it should have intellect, it should have affection, it should have surrenderance, it should have submission.
Kakaji, what is Guru Kripa or blessing, and how can a sadhak achieve that?
Guru Tattva is omnipresent, transcendental and beyond the world. In the same way, his grace is also omnipresent, transcendental and beyond the world. It is being showered upon you since forever. The real question is, how much of this grace can the Shishya receive? For example, with sunrise, the entire world gets operational. There is a start of activity all around. The birds, the animals, the nature, everything gets activated. And this is a result of the divine grace of the Almighty. In the same way, when the divine blessings of the Sadguru happen, then the seeker or sadhak starts to undergo both inner and outer transformations. The ultimate climax of both transformations is the attainment of oneself, to be centered in oneself and to get merged in the ultimate bliss is the final goal of any seeker or sadhak.
Kakaji, once you had spoken about the state of realization in one of the discussions. That mind, intellect and ego attain realization. If all these three get switched off, then you attain supreme bliss.
Yes, but one should get on with the worldly activities with that knowledge and should feel that ultimate supreme bliss.
Kakaji, one of the sadhak is curious to know, if there is a body, then there are virtues. It is regional, caste-based and language-oriented. He raises a question, if a person leaves all his worldly responsibilities and comes to his Guru and start doing Guru Seva, in that case, will he be free from all his sorrows?
Pleasure and grief are felt through mind, knowledge and consciousness. Bliss is your very nature. To attain that, you don't need any mind, knowledge, consciousness or ego. Pleasure and grief can be felt through mind, knowledge and consciousness, but for that ultimate bliss, you do not need any medium.
Kakaji, same sadhak has one more query, that after connecting with his Guru, what all a Shishya should follow and not follow.
Once a sadhak or Shishya is connected to a Guru, then he should only do whatever the Guru asks of or orders him. He should completely lose himself in serving the Guru and merge in the ultimate bliss.
Kakaji, one more sadhak has asked that how should one surrender to a Guru?
The surrenderance to the Guru is not needed on the Guru's part. Self-surrenderance should be on the seeker's part. Between you and the Supreme Power, there is a very thin curtain, the curtain of your ego. If the ego ceases, both Guru and Shishya are one. Supreme Power and you are one. This subtle ego is the only hindrance for the surrenderance and submission. Becoming aware of this subtle ego is the beginning of surrenderance and submission.
Does it mean that the curtain of duality between the Guru and the Shishya disappears by Guru's blessing?
Of course, this thin curtain doesn't fall off without the divine grace.
Kakaji, in the context of day-to-day life, one of the sadhaks has put up a question that a true sadhak can or should not have vices like eating non-veg, smoking, drinking, etc.
Anyone who is a true seeker, who has completely surrendered himself, he does not need any of these things. His disciplehood is beyond these things. Practically, all these things are obstacles, and in a way, they are the habits that deform the mind. None of them can serve any purpose whatsoever in understanding the Guru Tattva or merging oneself in the Guru. They are just utterly useless.
So it is not an obstacle, Kakaji.
Of course, they are an obstacle. They are.
But there is a saint in Maharashtra, Shankar Maharaj Ji.
Don't see or imitate the actions of any saint. Make the teachings of a saint your actions. They have the ability to absorb the effects of these things, but you don't have. You cannot even handle properly a hot cup of tea. So don't do what they are doing. They are beyond these things. You should not even think about these things.
Kakaji, as soon as the Guru meets his disciple, is the Guru able to know his disciple's past and future?
What is to be done after knowing it? If you have to live in the present moment, what is the use of knowing the past and the future? They don't have any relevance. A Sadguru teaches you the art of living in the present moment. So in spite of knowing about your past and your future, why will they ever discuss them with you? Their goal is to live in the ever-present moment. So for him, your past as well as your future is futile. A Sadguru or an attained soul never discusses your past or your future. He does not like it.
Kakaji, one more question by a sadhak. A disciple goes to his Guru for his guidance. But what does a Guru expect from him?
The expectations of a Guru from a Shishya are that the Shishya should also reach to the level the Guru has been able to reach to. He should enjoy, be centered in and be merged in the ultimate bliss. This is the expectation of a Sadguru from a Shishya.
Kakaji, does a Guru expect to get only one sincere disciple?
Guru does not have any expectations. Sadguru is beyond all expectations. He is complete. He is not lacking in anything. He is beyond all the wishes, the desires and expectations. With the blessings of the Almighty, if a Guru is assigned any task, he fulfills it with all his love and reverence. He does not have any sort of expectations. Because of this, a Sadguru is beyond expectations. He is complete. He is liberated.
One of the sadhak has asked that many Gurus give solutions through Tantra Mantra for day-to-day problems of a sadhak. So, is it the right way?
The thing is that if any Guru is prescribing such methods to his Shishya, I'm not aware about it. Because a real Sadguru will only give a medium which is practical and is mentioned about in the scriptures to rise above the mind, knowledge and consciousness.
Kakaji, a person wants to know, any Shishya who is following a Guru and his parampara, and yet he is not settled and his mind is not calm, in that case, should he look for a new parampara and a new goal?
It is not like that. If a Shishya is lacking in some things, some areas, then he should become aware about his weaknesses and he should contemplate about them, think about them and find out the ways and means to overcome them. He should really get into an active mode about overcoming all these problems.
Kakaji, after leaving the physical body, how do Sadgurus guide their disciples?
They leave this physical body made up of the 5 core elements, but to continue to remain in the divine body. And through that divine body, they continue to guide their Shishyas or seekers. Sadguru has to abide by certain special restrictions while he is in this physical body of 5 core elements. But once he has left behind this physical body and has merged into the 5 elements, then he becomes omnipresent, transcendental and beyond the world and accomplishes a great task. What he could not do in his physical body, he accomplishes many times more through his divine body. For example, we have Shirdi Sai Baba, Akalkot Maharaj, Sant Gyaneshwar, Sant Tukaram Maharaj. We have Kabir Das Ji Maharaj, Baba Nanak Dev Ji is there. There are lots of divine souls who have left behind their physical bodies, but even today they continue to provide guidance to their seekers, their Shishyas, their sadhaks.
Kakaji, Sadguru takes up a sanskar or virtue and then attains a physical form. So the question is, in that way, do they come into the world at different places with different sanskars or virtues?
You see, the thing is that one who attains the truth, he then has to come back to this world. Then either he comes by his own will or by the order of the tradition or by the command and order of the ultimate authority. He has nothing left to clear from his previous life now. Such divine souls come into this world with a drop from that divine cosmic ocean, and through the medium of their divine body, their only purpose is the well-being of entire mankind as well as society.
Kakaji, if some sadhak attains absolute bliss by his sadhana and by the divine grace of his guru, then on what level his parampara or tradition detaches from him?
Tradition doesn't leave anybody ever.
Okay, Kakaji. A sadhak wants to know what is dhyan and dhyan should be done for whom?
The process of experiencing one's true self is called dhyan. The process of feeling one's true self is known as dhyan.
And while in dhyan, what should be the main focus?
According to the scriptures, the dhyan of the Guru is the easiest of all. Because we remain in the vicinity of the Guru, we continuously listen to his preachings, his teachings. We experience his aura very closely, and our goal is to attain the Guru Tattva. So being very close and in the personal space of this virtuous as well as this embodied Guru Tattva, we deeply desire to be merged within that true form. So it can be said that the most favorable dhyan is the Guru Dhyan. So continuously dwelling in this very state of Guru Dhyan, when we finally rise above our egos, we realize our true self. So the final goal is the dhyan of oneself, and doing this to be centered in one's true self, in one's self-bliss, and experience it.
How should one start practicing dhyan, Kakaji?
The dhyan of the virtuous and embodied guru is easy to start with. We go to the various temples and looking at the different idols we fall into dhyan. And when these virtuous and embodied idols turn into infinite consciousness because of the Pran Pratishtha, they awaken your inner consciousness. They transfer and center that essence in your heart as well. So this is how it begins with the virtuous embodied dhyan. But the goal is Nirgun Nirakar. So the dhyan of all the different idols and the deities, it is all symbolic and metaphorical way towards the ultimate consciousness. And through the medium of all these virtuous and embodied idols, the final goal is to achieve the Nirgun Nirakar, the virtueless and formless bliss. The grace of Sadguru is with us. We are close to the Sadguru, and whenever this divine vicinity is experienced, it's very easy to go into the dhyan of one's Guru because his virtuous and embodied presence is continuously experienced by the seeker. The visual form of the Sadguru is strongly engraved on the heart and mind of the seeker, which makes it easy to get initiated in dhyan. We know about the different virtues of the Guru, about his nature, and so it becomes really easy to enter that state of dhyan. That is why this dhyan is very easy and achievable.
Kakaji, a sadhak wants to know at what age one should start dhyan.
There is no specific age for dhyan. When a child is born from his mother's womb, through his half-opened eyes, first of all he begins the dhyan of his mother. That is why there is no constraint of age for dhyan.
Kakaji, same sadhak has asked that how many times one should practice dhyan in a day and at what time.
Just like one knows the exact quantity or amount of the basic necessities like food and water for the efficient and healthy functioning of an individual's body, in the exact same way, depending upon one's mind, intellect, consciousness and basic temperament, one has to take the decision, beginning with about half an hour to 1 hour in the morning and the same in the evening. By and by, as the duration of the dhyan increases on its own, one should go with the flow. But alongside, one should not neglect the physical body, as this is the very medium through which one enters into that divine temple of one's soul, so one should take utmost care of it.
Ji Kakaji, and one should practice dhyan on an empty stomach or after meals.
Usually, if one sits in dhyan, empty stomach, it will be better and effective. So it would be preferable to go like that.
And should one go to a temple or any other place for practicing dhyan, or one can do it anywhere?
Till the time you are not in full control of your mind, intellect and consciousness, because by nature they are always wandering, so till then you can go to the temples and the ashrams. Because temples and ashrams are helpful in creating the right ambience. Once you are able to experience that mental state and the ambience, then you can recreate the same in your own home's temple. And through the very medium, then you can practice regular dhyan at your place.
Kakaji, is it necessary to practice dhyan in front of an idol, at a temple or in front of a picture?
Your mind, intellect and consciousness need something to depend upon. So if practiced in the required amount, it will not imply any harm or loss whatsoever.
So it means it's not mandatory, Kakaji?
If it is not a must for you, it is not required. The mind reacts by the medium of some dependency. But the mind which needs some sort of dependency for its functioning, it can also be in a state of non-dependency. So we can say that this dependency is a medium, whereas non-dependency is a state.
Kakaji, a sadhak has asked, can dhyan be achieved only in the refuge of a guru?
As I told you earlier also, a newborn child with his half-opened eyes enters into dhyan on his mother. So there is no such compulsion. If there is a Sagun Isht, one can begin his or her dhyan through that medium.
And while in dhyan, to which god should we pray to?
You can begin your dhyan with whomsoever you follow.
Kakaji, can we also pray to our guru while in dhyan? One of the sadhak has asked this question.
The very goal of dhyan is Guru's attainment, Guru's grace. That's why those who have been blessed by a guru or who have been initiated or have decided to follow a guru, it's better for them to meditate on their Sadguru.
Kakaji, one sadhak has asked that while in dhyan, should one chant any mantra also? If yes, then what mantra should one chant?
One should use the mantra given by the guru or the guru mantra in the early stages of dhyan, and once the dhyan flourishes, the mantra drops by itself. One does not have to make any effort to drop it.
Kakaji, does some kind of music help us while we are doing dhyan?
For the concentration of your mind, you can have the assistance of music. But music is not the goal. Music is only an aid.
Kakaji, a sadhak has raised a topic that in different paramparas or traditions, there are different methods of practicing dhyan. So, which method is the correct one?
Whichever tradition a sadhak or a seeker is a part of, it's best for him to follow the same tradition. There is no need to take any help from any other tradition.
What is the ultimate goal of dhyan?
The attainment of self, the attainment of bliss, getting centered in oneself, knowing one's real self.
Kakaji, a sadhak wants to know, if by dhyan one can achieve everything, then what is the purpose of karma?
Without karma, dhyan is also not possible. To sit in dhyan is also a karma. To focus mind, intellect and consciousness is also a karma. That's why karma is required. Through karma one can go beyond the karma. Without karma one cannot achieve his final goal.
Kakaji, a question related to this arises that if we perform day-to-day chores with dedication and focus, so what is the difference between this dhyan and the dhyan which we sit and practice?
Whatsoever you contemplate upon or focus on in your day-to-day life is Bahaya Dhyan or outer meditation. Upon detachment from it begins the inner meditation or Antar Dhyan. Antar Dhyan is the Dhyan of the inner, Bahaya Dhyan is the Dhyan of the outer. Till the time one attains non-dualistic vision and instinct, practice of inner Dhyan is essential. Because inner Dhyan only creates the non-dualistic vision. And when the demarcation of outer and inner dhyan vanishes, then only real dhyan begins.
Kakaji, a sadhak wants to know that one who just practices dhyan and the second one who fulfills all his responsibilities and duties. So, out of the both, who is progressing on the path of sadhana?
There is no comparison in this. The one who is engrossed in his karma, if his intensity is greater than the one who is practicing dhyan, then while doing his daily routine tasks also, his karma, he can go beyond the karma. And the one who has his main goal as dhyan only and who is fully focused, he is also performing his karma and is good in his own way. So there is no comparison between the two. Whatever medium one has, he needs to make use of that medium only. One who has cycle, he is making use of the cycle. One who has motorcycle, he is making use of the motorcycle. One who has car, he is making use of the car. The speeds of all these is only relative. So they will arrive at their destinations in their own time accordingly.
Kakaji, while practicing dhyan, does our Guru's dhyan is also upon us?
Guru Tattva being omnipresent beyond the world and transcendental, his dhyan is there on you. When your dhyan connects you with the Guru, it's then that you realize what is Guru Tattva.
Kakaji, even if our Guru is not present physically while practicing dhyan, is it true that still his dhyan is upon us?
A Guru or a Sadguru always maintains his focus on his seekers towards their daily routine chores and tasks as well as their state of meditation. A Sadguru is fully aware about the inner spiritual progress of his seeker. The relativity of space and time does not exist for him. Sadguru is beyond time, beyond space.
Kakaji, a sadhak wants to know, how can we find out that our dhyan is on the right path? What is the way to find out?
Few parameters verify your progress on the path of meditation. The overall increase in your inner peace, the decrease in hatred, envy and jealousy, the love that you feel generally towards people, your perspective towards the materialistic world, and whether you can feel the dawning of an inner tranquility that you can really feel or not. Or can you feel the fundamental peace and serenity deep in your mind, intellect, consciousness and ego? So these are its parameters, its benchmarks.
Kakaji, while practicing dhyan, lot of thoughts cross our mind, which breaks our dhyan. So what should one do in this case?
Insurgence of a lot of thoughts is also a part of dhyan, and going beyond all that maddening crowd of thoughts is the final goal of dhyan, its final destination. If there is an insurgence of lot of thoughts, don't worry, because all the thoughts that are coming will finally vanish. The thoughts will appear and disappear, it's their very nature. It's like huge traffic going up and down on a road. Similarly, there is a huge number of thoughts moving across the road of your conscience, but it remains untouched.
Kakaji, a sadhak has asked that although we are practicing dhyan in the right manner, but still all the negativity and shortfalls are still there. Nothing has changed.
If that's the case, you are not on the right path. Because if in retrospect you find that there are some problems, some weaknesses, and you are not making enough efforts to rectify or resolve them, then in a way you are deceiving yourself out and out. It's that simple. You are lying to yourself. You are cheating yourself, not others.
Kakaji, while doing dhyan, there are a lot of kriyas. What are these kriyas and why are they done?
There are as many as 72,000 naris in our body, and for their purification, the energy has to undergo many different kriyas for the purification process. So these kriyas are a resource for the purification on physical, mental and intellectual level.
Kakaji, many people have to do a lot of kriyas and many people have less kriyas to do. Why is it so?
Kriyas happen to a seeker according to the level of the requirement. If there is no requirement, no kriyas will happen. It's not essential that kriyas happen to everyone.
So if there are no kriyas, that is also a kriya?
Yes, you can consider the case to be this.
Kakaji, a sadhak has a question that certain people get scared while watching these kriyas and stop doing dhyan because of that.
This is wrong, because if a kriya is happening to someone, it is not related to you whatsoever. You are in your own dhyan, not someone else's. So you are not related to what is happening to him. You should focus on your own dhyan. There is no need to be scared of it. Dhyan should lead to fearlessness, not to be scared in any way. If you are feeling scared, then you are not going in the right direction. Because the goal of your dhyan is fearlessness.
Kakaji, although this question is answered, but few sadhaks have raised one question, that while practicing dhyan, one might have certain experiences, because of which one becomes arrogant that he has experienced darshan of his God or Guru, So he considers himself superior to others. So is it the right thought to have?
No, this thinking is wrong, absolutely wrong. Dhyan is done to attain egolessness. If you are feeling even stronger ego, then you are going in the opposite direction and you are simply cheating yourself.
Kakaji, how can be a true sadhak identified?
One who is working towards his goal with full intensity. Someone who is increasing his vairagya through his dhyan and meditation. And one who is completely dedicated to his goal. One who has completely surrendered himself towards his guru. He is a true sadhak.
Kakaji, there are many religions in the world who do not follow Guru Shishya Parampara. So can they also do dhyan or meditation? If so, whom should they follow?
Those traditions of the world which believe in one God, one supreme power, their approach is towards the virtueless and formless power.
So Kakaji, studying scriptures, Ved, Puran and Granth, do these also help us in practicing dhyan?
The ultimate goal of dhyan is attaining the self, making the dhyan reinforced, capable and absolutely effective. Whatever is required, it may be made use of. It comprises of listening to the scriptures, reading them, contemplating and meditating on them. These can all be helpful.
Kakaji, some sadhaks have asked that which parampara we belong to or which parampara are we part of.
I am approached by sadhaks of varied traditions. They are very well acquainted with their own tradition. Every person knows well the name of his parents. As far as our tradition is concerned, this tradition originates from the Adi Shiv, Bhagwan Nityanand, Baba Muktanand Paramhans. This is the lineage of this tradition. Our tradition is also related to the Nath Sampradaya.
And which all gurus are in this parampara? Can you put some light on this, please?
There is Bhagwan Nityanand, Baba Muktanand. Being connected to the Nath Parampara, all the Siddh Gurus of the Nath Parampara are also a part of this tradition.
So, is this parampara already here or is it found all over the world?
Guru Tattva is omnipresent, transcendental and beyond the world, so it can accept any medium whatsoever. And with the help of that very medium, it can express itself. That is why, in the entire world, Guru Tattva is active by itself. To create or to dissipate any tradition is a very simple thing for it.
Kakaji, a sadhak wants to know that by seeking the blessing of any one guru, are we able to get blessings and guidance of all the other gurus related to this parampara?
If you have become a part of any tradition, then you will be graced with the blessings and the guidance of all the gurus of that tradition.
Kakaji, some sadhaks have asked to throw some light on Shakti Path. They want to know, should Shakti Path be considered part of Tantra Mantra also?
In Swadhyay, we do Lalita Trishati part, which itself symbolizes the Shakti. Now that Stotra symbolizes Shakti, so if you consider its explanation as Shakti part, then it's okay. Although every Stotra itself is infused with Shakti. This part itself is so much charged with tremendous energy and Shakti that this Shakti, then being Ichha Swarupini, Kriya Swarupini and Dhyan Swarupini, finally leads the sadhak to merge in his true self.
Kakaji, then why do we only recite Lalita Trishati Path?
This comes from a tradition and the Gyanaganj, and in order to help the sadhak in the form of their Swadhyay, this has been specified. So we do the part of Lalita Trishati Stotram.
What are the benefits of reciting this part? Can you please tell everyone about this?
It leads to the activation of Shakti.
And what is Kundalini Shakti, Kakaji?
It is that very Shakti to awaken which all the scriptures and all the divine souls strive for, and awaken that Shakti in their disciples.
Kakaji, what is the difference between initiating Shakti and experiencing Shakti?
That Shakti is initiated by the Sadguru, whereas that Shakti is experienced by the Shishya.
Kakaji, somebody has a query that out of all the 9 Devis, who is Mata Tripura Sundari, or is she the supreme?
Mata Tripura Sundari is considered to be in the realm of Sri Vidya. She is a part of it. She only is Lalita Tripura Sundari. She is the supreme Vidya in the Dash Mahavidya. The entire universe as well as all the Puranas glorify Mata Tripura Sundari. She only is known as Raj Rajeshwari, and she only is known as Mata Tripura Sundari.
Kakaji, in the 10 Mahavidyas, Bhagwati Raj Rajeshwari Devi is considered the supreme. What is the reason behind this?
This is pure and sattvic invocation, and its goal is also to achieve pure and sattvic peace and bliss. Other practices are a little tough. This practice is comparatively easier.
Ji, and what about Ma Tara, Ma Kali and Ma Domavati?
All these are the Siddh deities of those traditions, and attaining of those Mahavidyas happens according to their conduct or practice. As per the scripture, all the Vidyas are supreme.
So, is there a comparison between them?
Should not be done, because there is no point of comparison, because to every child his own mother is the best in the world.
That means all the 10 Vidyas are complete among themselves?
Right, all the 10 Mahavidyas are absolute in themselves. According to our own nature and values, we acknowledge as well as embrace those Mahavidyas.
Kakaji, you were talking about Trishati part. Few sadhaks want to know how many times in a day they should do the part and till when should he continue doing it.
Lalita Trishati Stotram is accomplished by the recitation of 300 Bij mantras and is the stotra of Mata Tripura Sundari. This is a Sabij stotra. Through the medium of these 300 mantras, 3 kutas are created, and through the medium of 3 kutas, Pancharishi mantra is originated. The initial letters of the Lalita Trishati Stotram create the Panchadashi mantra, and listening to this mantra from the mouth of the Guru, this Siddh mantra becomes a divine blessing for the sadhana of a Shishya and works as a catalyst. So, recited by the Guru, this mantra should be imbibed by the sadhak.
Kakaji, a sadhak wants to know what is Shri Yantra and what is the significance of it?
Shri Yantra is a blueprint of atom and universe. The world as well as the divine creation. Absolute unmanifested supreme power is virtueless and formless. Through the very ideation of Ekoham Bahusyam, it is formed in a nucleus. Through the resonance of this nucleus, Shiv and Shakti come into being. And by merging into the Shakti, Shiv then creates the universe. With the creation of the universe, Shiv also expands the universe. The sequence and the method which is used, its entire blueprint and the plan is unified into this yantra, which is known as Shri Yantra.
Kakaji, how to identify genuine Shri Yantra?
A Shri Yantra which is created through the medium of pure scriptures and is active, effective, and has the vibrations of the supreme power is the real Sri Yantra.
Kakaji, a sadhak has asked something related to Kumkum Archana. We do Kumkum Archana in our places, in our house. So what is Kumkum Archana and what is the importance and significance of this?
The union of the Shakti and the Shiv is the medium of the creation of this world. With the union of red and white begins the creation of this universe. And Kumkum has both these elements of red as well as white. So Kumkum is a representative of it. And this is the reason why through the medium of Kumkum we do Kumkum Archana.
Kakaji, what is the right method of doing Kumkum Archana? Please tell us about this.
When you try to invoke Mata Tripura Sundari, then for that invocation you recite in her praise. And this can be done by at least 108 recitations. And after that, if you do the Kumkum Archana of the Sri Yantra, then that Kumkum Archana is more beneficial. This quantity can be altered as well, like 108 or 1008. It may be 1,08,000 or even 12 crores. So in direct proportion to the increase in your efforts, Mata Tripura Sundari blesses the seeker with all the wishes and the desires or even the vows which are related both to the materialistic as well as to the spiritual world. So if any seeker invokes and offers his true prayers to Mata Tripura Sundari, she becomes very happy and fulfills the seeker's desires.
Kakaji, a sadhak wants to know that how can we change our negative thoughts or change the negative people around us?
You should just focus on changing yourself. There is no need to change anyone else. Looking at you and observing you, they will themselves change. Like if I do not want to change myself, and with all my garbage inside me, I wish to change this world, then I suppose this is the biggest act of stupidity one can think of. If I turn inwards and through the medium of dhyan and meditation I attain myself, then my inner developed Shakti is very helpful in inner as well as outer transformation. And the fact is that we are supposed to do this.
Kakaji, one more question is there, that what is the significance of mantra jap?
A mantra which is obtained from a Siddhi tradition is the Siddh mantra. So when a Shishya or a seeker is blessed with a Siddh mantra from his Sadguru, and then when that Shishya makes the full use of that mantra by invoking his true self, by chanting the mantra, by distilling his mind, his intellect, consciousness as well as ego, and then freeing up himself from all the unwanted entities and experiencing his purest form is what a mantra does. That's why mantra sadhana is considered supreme form of sadhana. And in many traditions, according to time, place or beliefs, seekers are urged for jap sadhana and jap yoga. The final goal of jap is dhyan, and the final goal of dhyan is attaining the self.
Kakaji, a sadhak wants to know what is Atma and what is Atma Gyan.
Atma and Atma Gyan are entities that cannot be discussed or explained whatsoever. They are subjects of experience, not questioning. There have been thousands of scriptures which have discussed about Atma and Atma Gyan. But that has not led to anyone's attainment. Only the right efforts can lead to someone's attainment. That imparts real wisdom, and that real wisdom leads to one's true self.
So that means Atmagyan is to be experienced, Kakaji?
Atmagyan is to be experienced, and so is Atma. These entities are actually way beyond any explanations.
Kakaji, a sadhak has a question. What is the difference between practical love and affection towards Guru?
Practical love is comparative. Love of the Guru is absolute.
Kakaji, this is the last question. What is Param Anand or ultimate bliss?
Bliss is a topic of experience, not explanation, and as long as you haven't experienced it, any explanation is futile.
Thank you so much. So with this, we end our questions related towards our spiritual journey. As today Kakaji has enlightened us with all our questions and queries, for which all sadhak brothers and sisters are grateful to Kakaji. Thank you so much. Sadguru Nath Maharaj ki jai.
Sadguru Nath Maharaj ki jai.